Hello guys, it's Manu and welcome to the power rankings for the Fusion division of the Frost Battle League Season 12. I'm joined today by Wagon Fruit.
Hi everybody, I'm Wagon Fruit.
Alright, Wagon's done the rankings for you today, so if you have problems you should probably ping him in the Discord server and insult him. I'm sure he'd love that.
If you DM me, I'm gonna block you. For any reason, not even just about this. I'm just gonna block you.
Great. Okay, well, let's just get straight into it. So at number 16 we have Marty, coach of the Tartiflets or whatever, French guy.
Oh, am I being like nationalist or like discriminatory by putting him last? I didn't mean to do that.
No, it's fine.
Sorry, Marty. I like your logo.
Yeah, this logo's cool. I do see a few issues with the team though, but I'll let you start off since you did the rankings.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is just a combination of way too many Pokemon that are just getting hard walled by shit and
That's
just
true.
getting abused for their step moves and all the coverage that they have access to. Like Corviknight, No Terra Thundurus, Comfey, Serperior, they're all just like walled by
steals.
just a singular typing, really.
Yeah.
And I don't think this team is bulky enough to get away with it. Actually, I kind of had to BRB 1 sec.
No.
Okay. So basically, I think I was saying how so much of his team gets hardwalled by shit, which gives your opponent like so much time to get in and do their threats and like abuse you. And I don't think this team is bulky enough to be just allowing that to happen. It's like Corvin Clodsire is like the big defensive core, and like you can argue that Comfey is bulky, but it's really just not bulky enough. Not checking things consistently.
No.
It's really just kind of there for like emergency prio, emergency Draco immune.
Yeah, literally half the team gets walled by steel types as well, especially Clodsire. Like you can just put an air balloon on a steel type or whatever and it just can't do anything at all. I really don't like Clod.
It's true. I mean, steel types do like invite in attacks from the two actual strong attackers in this team, but neither of them want to switch into stuff. And if it's like a steel Terra captain, then yeah, that could be really bad if they have coverage. And also only one of them can Terra, which for Arcanine is not really a problem in terms of doing damage. But one of your two, yeah, Quack kind of needs it.
Pretty underwhelming.
But yeah, but like only one of your guys is gonna be able to Terra, and that's like your two best offensive pieces.
I also really don't like that, like on team preview, if you don't see the Clodsire, you can basically just assume there's not going to be any hazards unless he's running like Rocks Arcanine, which is kind of meh.
Yeah, that is super meh. Yeah, it's the only source of hazards.
Yeah.
It's the only really thing even remotely stopping a Terra Electric Terra Captain from blowing through this team.
True, yeah.
And that kind of sucks because there's no ghost type, so like your hazards are very spinnable.
True, yeah. Also, you actually only ghost resist is Darkrai, speaking of, so that's not great.
It's true. People, I noticed this a lot. People really disrespected Spectre this time around. They didn't care at all.
Yeah, literally.
They really didn't care.
There's so many teams without a fucking normal or good ghost.
Yeah, and their darks are just frail as hell. Yeah, I mean, what I do like is like the Darkrai Quack pairing, and Core Round 2 is a little stupid, but it is good with Darkrai. It's like a fine pivot.
Yeah.
So it's whatever.
Darkrai Quack is really like I've seen that a lot in like other divisions as well.
Yeah, it's definitely good. And then like Helmet Corv is like making Scarf U-turns not want to happen, which is cool. I don't know. It just looks like so much. It just looks like so much on this team needs Terra, and only one can do it per game, and only two have it.
Yeah. I think this guy's like really good friends with Galbel as well, so that's probably why he drafted the Comfey, because he loves that mon.
Okay, I didn't know that was his staple. Yeah, I don't know. Like the offense is like okay, but also pretty matchup dependent in terms of like non-Terra Serp, non-Terra Comfey.
Yeah, aside from
And
Arcanine, it
then
also kind of heavily relies on setup. Well, yeah, I guess Tundi doesn't really, but you get the point.
yeah, when I use non-Terra Thundi, I was not really that impressed. Like every time it comes, it's like fine, but it doesn't come as often as you want for a 13 pointer.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's just how it is. Having to run coverage to not be just hardwalled by grounds, it really isn't great.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
But when that coverage is super effective, it is strong at least.
For sure, I like Tundi. Okay,
Yeah, I think this team just has to be hard carried by Darkrai for being.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we'll see.
Alright, let's move on to number 15, which is Ornladios. What team is that? No, that's not his team, right? Oh yeah, it is. This is a root team. Yeah, well, the first thing I notice here is that after the top 3, every single Pokemon is really good.
Yeah, everything behind that is so good and so bringable all the time.
Is this just like everything under Iron Boulder is like worth 10 points or something, right? Or less?
Yeah, Stoiz is 11. Stoiz is 11.
Yeah.
Which some consider an overpay, so you could pretty much say that.
Yeah, it probably is.
So yeah, first off, Zarude Zapdos really good. Zarude
Sure.
Boulder or Zapdos Boulder really good. Only one of these dudes can Terra though.
Yeah.
Per game.
I feel like having
and
these two Terra capsules that are like they really increase in price with Terra. I feel like that's a very weird decision to make.
Yeah, so every game you are, assuming you're bringing both of these guys, which you probably should. It's like you're only 3 good Pokemon. You are paying like 8 extra minimum or some shit. Probably more, like 10 extra minimum for one of your guys.
I think Zarude
then you
like 11 points.
You round Ford and Entei. I don't understand what's going on with this team. So yeah, like as you'd expect from a team like this, the roles are just like spread super thin. You have like a lot of them,
and
but
the hazards are so bad. Holy shit.
We dipped so low for so much, and we have like Sandaconda ground on a Zapdos team, and Zapdos Blastoise team, which classically invites Terra Electrics, and we're just not punishing them really.
Not at all, no. You literally have to bring your 2 worst Pokemon if you want hazards at all, which is really bad.
Yeah, like what I will give to this team is assuming that both of these Pokemon that can Terra are doing what they need to be doing in the game, and they're supported by Zapdos Blastoise, like that is solid. Like that will always be okay at least.
For sure, yeah.
But there's just some shitters here, and we have a nice synergy, I guess, is like all the special fat on the team plus Zapdos, so kind of trapping like what attacks that they are trying to make progress with, which is cool. But that's kind of just it. Like Terra Ghost is destroying this, or just any ghost is destroying this, of course.
Yeah, Zarude Terrace, it's kind of fucked.
Yeah, I think when your team starts getting like giga fucked by multiple different Terra types, that's when it starts getting dire. That's when you start like looking at Gen 9 and being like, damn, I hate this tier because it's so unpredictable.
Yeah, I fucking hate.
But like, no, you just have to draft so that multiple fucking things don't solo your whole team.
Let me look at the draft
it's
board.
like yeah, there's like a semblance of a good structure here, but it's just not.
There's a
good Pokemon.
D-Knight undrafted. Maybe
there's an undrafted D-Knight in this division. What are we even doing, man?
There's an undrafted D-Knight.
Let's go.
Yeah, you can probably pick that guy up somehow. I don't know.
That's crazy. Yeah, like everything else is like just okay, but like all the Pokemon here are bad. So unfortunate.
Pretty much, yeah. Alright, let's move on to number 14, which is someone known for drafting weird teams, Mr. Nozermat.
Yeah, Damn, did I put him at? I really wanted to put him higher this time, but at least I didn't put him last. I have a little bit of respect for what he did this time. It's just like
It is just it looks like a regen.
it's just the classic
with
Nazar map.
hazards. Yeah. Well, holy shit! All these fucking hazard setters. What the fuck? There's like 5. Not all of them are good, but you know.
Yeah, he has some stuff sprinkled around.
Yeah.
It feels so bad putting Nazarmat teams this low because I know that he sees something about the team that I don't because he's better than me. And he's just gonna like make it work. But from what I understand about this game, this is just weird as shit. We round 2 to a regular King Gambit, which is super cool. And the thing is that King Gambit is like holding together like 3 massive resists. So like I think Dragon, Dark, and Ghost, and like if any of these are like Terra captains that get fighting coverage, like we're not gonna have a consistent check to these things. Period.
Yeah. And even then, like Terra King Gambit is at least scary because you know like, it's not gonna have that big weakness. But King Gambit regular is just like it's pretty easy to like prep for. In my opinion.
It is like. Even though it seems like base King Gambit like should be good, like oh it's just the fighting weakness that's bad, but it's relevant so often everywhere.
Because it's really slow and you can't really do anything if a fighting type comes in to revenge you because now you can't tear out of being fighting weak. So it's like oh I'm gonna sucker punch it and then what die.
Yeah, exactly. Like even just having a Terra Dark is like. Better it's like such important defensive utility to just not be quad weak to shit or weak to fire or etc.
For sure.
Like
he does also have a really big ground weakness with Flygon and Tornadus being the only immune.
Yeah, though it being like having an Almola does shore that up a bit. I'm not like too hard. I'm not gonna harp too hard about that, especially because Flygon like. Even though I don't think Flygon's very good, like he kind of needs it in games, like kind of often. Otherwise, he's like getting super volt switched on, and
that's true.
It's like, it's like his base 100 as well. It's got a bit of priority for him, which is cool, I guess.
Imagine if he took like. Gliscor around 2 and then the King Gambit a bit later on and the team would be a lot better I think.
Yeah, probably. I do we'll give this credit. I do like the Terra combo. I think Terra Reuniclus, it definitely gets way better with Terra. It's kind of like an honorary fairy type with Terra, but it doesn't need it. At least from my experience, it just like AV regens and sits there. And it's like impossible to break on the special side.
Yeah, for sure. I faced one recently, and I ran Terra Ice Specs Iron Bundle, and I did like 42 to an AP.
Yeah, it doesn't give a shit about any special hit in the game.
It was really fun.
And then Terra Torn hogs it a bit, but that's fine now. So that's nice. I don't really know what Gudra is bringing to the team aside from explicitly knockoff.
Maybe like I don't know a Wellspring check or something. It's kind of weird, but
yeah, I guess that is fair.
Yeah,
he does kind of need that. I mean, Torn can kind of Terra to check stuff, but yeah.
But even then, like if it's the Wellspring is a +2, Terra Grass is still gonna take like 70, I think. Had calcs.
Yeah, definitely. It's not gonna be that fun. So yeah, I guess that's why you drafted it, but that's like 12 points for that and that almost alone.
That's fair.
Not entirely alone. Well, we do have Torn and Reuniclus knocking, so it's not like a dire knockoff situation, you know?
For sure. I think
like,
he'll do well knowing him.
Yeah, he will. Like, we know this.
It's not the worst team I've seen from him.
Yeah, definitely not. I put him like 16 the other 2 times or something.
Something like that, probably, yeah.
Yeah. We also just like don't really have a breaker on this team. despite all the pivoting and all the positioning tools.
Oh no, really? No. I
So-
mean, Annihilate kind of
Yeah,
depends on
it's like
yeah. It
only
can
Annihilate.
be. It can be one if it takes a few hits, basically.
Yeah, I mean, like it's got decently strong CCs, but those are not hard to deal with
Yeah.
short term.
For sure.
So, early game pressure is kind of non-existent. And then Raichu is just a terrible Pokemon. Raichu is such a Nozomat pick though. Like I know
Yeah.
it's gonna come to like 4 games.
For sure. I don't really
For
know.
no fucking
The
reason.
Sudowoodo is. I want to see it do something this season. Please bring it at least once. Surely he's
Yeah.
gonna bring like fucking. I was gonna say Scarf, but that thing is base speed, 30 speed, so never mind. Yeah. I don't know what Sudowoodo is gonna do, but I'm interested to see.
No, it's gonna be like FizzDef Custap or something.
Sure. Wow, this thing's stats are so bad. Holy shit.
Yeah. But it's just like another classic Nozomat, like drafting kind of mediocre picks and just making them work
Yeah.
together. But right now, I don't think it's a very good team. We'll see.
I mean, I think he's just gonna like heavily focus on hazard stack, spin block with Annihilate, and then just do whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Which, to be fair, that is quite strong with Torn.
For sure,
Right.
yeah.
That's all he's kind of got. So we'll see.
Alright, let's go to number 13, which is Jiggy Poo.
Jiggy Poo. I feel for this guy. He got fucking last pick.
He got last pick last season as well, it's crazy.
Oh my
How's
god.
that
Yeah, he
twice?
did. Dude, I was copying this over from my other Fusion doc, and I replaced Jiggy Poo with Jiggy Poo. And I felt so bad.
That's crazy.
I felt so bad. But
That's the second,
this team
the
seems
second
like-
round 1 Roaring Moon I've seen.
yeah.
Funny.
Which, to be fair, like that, I think that has both times has happened on back wheel, so I don't
Yeah.
blame it too much.
For sure.
And we did actually get like a high tier cap, so that's okay. I don't like how weak the hazard game is on a Roaring Moon team.
Oh yeah, it's really just Overpawn and I guess Donphan for rocks. I don't really think the other two
Yeah.
are gonna come. If
Yeah, and-
Donphan has to be a rocker and the spinner, it's really gonna be bad.
Yeah, and it does, unfortunately. It just
Yeah.
really does. The speed on this team is also very, very dire. I think we're gonna see a lot of just Scarf Terra Steel Crown, and most of the time the Crown will not Terra
Oh, yeah,
because it's saving it for Rapid,
yeah, because you really
which just feels pretty bad.
yeah, because your Ogrepawn can be scarfed, so if you want to outspeed something like fucking booster speed Valiant, you have to scarf your Roaring Moon, which is kind of unfortunate.
Yeah, it's not fun.
Mm-hmm.
This team is also super dying to Edgequake.
Oh yeah, Rotom and
Super
Straps are
dying.
the only fucking resists or immunities. That's
Yeah, Quake
bad.
is just really safe against this.
Mhm.
But I mean, top 2, very good pairing. Roaring Moon knocking off helmets for Shifu is just very nice.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And then Hearth Flame also not making contact with those helmets is cool. I think Crown could be cool, but I think it's gonna be locked into Scarf. To be for real, like one of Shifu or Crown is gonna be locked into Scarf every single time, which feels
Yeah.
like shit.
For sure. I mean, I guess Crown can also do booster speed, but you know, then it's
Yeah,
forced to sit
And-
there.
or Scarf. Yeah, or Scarf itself, and then the
Mhm.
Crown booster speeds, which is like, yeah, it's fine. It's a bit of variation,
Mm-hmm.
but it kind of needs to happen every time, and that
Yeah.
kind of sucks.
He did
And then,
win
like-
this season last time though, so I'm sure he'll make it work.
Yeah, he didn't have a team I disliked so much last time. I think he had like the rain thing, maybe.
Yeah, but he completely nuked it after like week 2.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and then like the rest of the pieces go well together fine. I just think Slowking, Rotom Heat, Fez is like very mediocre. Like bulk just fat sitting there, not doing much. Rotom's okay, but also not as
Yeah, I really
like.
don't like Rotom Heat in this generation at least.
Yeah, I don't dislike it too much, but it's not gonna stick around for so long.
Yeah. For sure, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just Rotom Heat. I feel like it's really bad at being like defensive. It always wants to be offensive. Rotom Heat.
Well, I don't mind it being defensive purely because you can just go like fast pain split and be annoying. So it's not like the worst, but it's definitely not sticking around for long enough. And like with Edgequake being so strong, Rotom Heat is like one of the guys that's fucked by that. So it's like Slowking kind of holding it down.
We
Yeah,
will see
I
how
don't
he
know.
does, I suppose. At least Donphan can like tank the Edgequake hits mostly. Should be fine.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
let's
pretty much it.
go to number 12, which is Sage Spike. Wellspring team.
Sage Spike.
This one looks a little bit better than the other ones I've seen so far.
Yeah, I didn't mind this one. I just kind of put it like middle of the pack and kept like pushing it down like gradually. It's got some cool synergies. I do like the slow pivot, and then Cyclezar plus Terra Wellspring Chiyu just nuking everything. It's pretty cool.
For sure.
And then we got a little Trick Room core into Conk and Prim. But if I'm being for real, the Prim round 3 into it kind of giving you nothing other than a fairy type on this team kind of sucks.
Yeah, I feel like G-King is, I mean, it's not really the most straightforward partner for Wellspring either.
Yeah. I mean, it's fine.
Yeah, it's okay.
Another thing I guess you can appreciate is G-King chilling into Rotom Frost, who only has Blizzard as his ice stab.
Oh, yeah, that's true actually.
So that's cool, I guess.
That,
I think the biggest thing though is like physical offense, specifically stuff that like actually threatens Skarm, is like impossible to deal with entirely. And we have fastest Mon Cyclezar, so if that thing is like actually able to outspeed and threaten like Wellspring, then we have to Scarf our Chiyu to kind of deal with it.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't
and not lose to it in the end game.
Yeah, that team is definitely like, it relies on literally the top 3 or like top 4 with Cyclezar Chiyu for speed pretty much.
Yeah, I think this is just gonna be like Chiyu blocking Scarf every time.
Yeah.
And then Cyclezar is gonna be like, he like really needs to get those hazards off, or he's gonna get fucked.
Well,
which, to be fair, it is like decent at doing.
So okay.
Wait, what did you say?
He has 2 defoggers as well, so the removal is like pretty good here.
Yeah, I guess the Braviary can reasonably do it sometimes. I think Conk it basically doesn't even have the move. I don't care.
I don't. Why does it even have it?
Shit is not going to defog. I like kind of can. It is a little bit physically bulky, but yeah.
Yeah.
But if this thing fights like anything offensive Terra Electric, they are getting blown up on the physical side, especially. And
feels like such a
they can't do much. Yeah. I just wish the Prim was a different fairy. I just think it's not necessary.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
I think it could have just been a way cheaper guy and not taken round 3. And you could have gotten something better round 3, and your team would be higher quality overall.
I would have really liked to see like a Kyurem or something on this to take advantage of the snow and then break for Wellspring, the Terra Grass and Terra Dragon spam. I think that would have been really cool.
Yeah, I also like when fighting when having Wellspring is that you have a Pokemon that also like makes them want to run another Terra type that isn't Grass or Dragon, so that you don't just get easy walled with no punish.
Yeah, I had it last season with like Iron Bundle, and I was surprised by the amount of people that just ran Terra Steel instead of like Terra Grass because they were scared of Bundle more than Wellspring for some reason.
Yeah. Like that is pretty cool, but unfortunately you can't really Terra to beat Chiyu, and if you do try, like you can just run Terra Dragon and resist the fire move, which is
Yeah, that's
stronger.
fair, yeah.
So yeah, and then Prim like is beating those, but it's not going to stick around forever. And then like, what are you going to do about it?
Yeah, it'll be an interesting team to see for sure. But this guy does always draft like kind of weird. He does make it work. He won Legendary last season, so we'll see.
I mean, I will give it to him. He has a lot of different tools to use.
Yeah, for sure.
Like everything here has their own little niche. Even if it's just like Palisand spin blocking for Skarmory, which is like the weirdest combination ever. And Skarm is kind of the only hazard setter, so that is literally what it's for.
Yeah.
Other than Wellspring.
I feel that.
Yeah. It's not so bad. This is like the start of like where I didn't have like a super firm opinion on where everything should be ordered. But I do think I would put it here.
Yeah, it makes sense. I was a part of the draft for a little while, so I was like, a lot of the teams are starting to look really weird, like during the drafts.
Wait, did you put Jigglypuff over Sage or something?
No, I didn't do anything. You made the rankings.
I made the whole ranking. On my document, it says that Sage is above Jigglypuff.
Yeah, we already did Jigglypuff.
Oh wait, dude, I'm like blind. Holy shit. Okay, my bad.
What the hell? Okay, let's.
Dude, I just had like an actual mini stroke. That was crazy.
Okay, number 11 we have Rizu, coach of the whatever Hell Creek Head Smash.
You call him Rizu? Is that actually how it's pronounced?
I don't know. Is it like Riz?
I always call him Rizzo.
Oh, Rizzo. I thought it was Rizu, but I've never heard his name like pronounced before.
You're making me doubt it. I think I'm wrong now.
I think the French pronunciation is just gonna be Rizu, and I always use that because we'll see, I suppose.
Yeah.
He's definitely gonna comment something. I can feel it.
Shout out to Rizzo, because when I sometimes like go into random draft games to see what's going on and find some funny sets, I always see him there with me. He just joins random draft games with me.
That's funny.
He doesn't know I know, but I know. Or at least he used to.
Yeah, that has happened before actually. Like in the FBL, when I was like watching a game, and then suddenly he just joins, and he's like not even in the server at that point.
Yeah, dude. Sometimes when I'm just like super bored, I'll just like I'll join like the first draft Gen 9 game I see, and Rizzo will just be in there. It's awesome.
Let's look at the actual team. You have Terapagos and like 15 other rockers for some reason.
This team is like, it's hard to place, but it's pretty weird. It's kind of really reliant on Dirge's base typing and also it being a Terra captain at the same time. Which is like, I guess what else are you gonna do, right? But it's odd.
I've never actually seen a Terra Landorus incarnate. I don't know. I considered terroring it myself on my team, but I didn't end up doing it.
I personally am a Terra Lando incarnate hater because this dude is kind of just wanting to Terra Ground or Terra Poison every single time to just get the Sheer Force moves doing extra damage.
Oh yeah, makes sense.
It's like when you click Terra Blast and you're not boosting it by Sheer Force, you're kind of doing just as much damage as like Earth Power anyway.
I mean, Terra Flying would be like decent, I guess, but that's about it.
Yeah, Terra Flying's fine. You get extra stab and a new coverage type, but it's kind of just okay in my opinion. I think if you want a Terra Flying with something else, it would be better. It would be more difference in value.
Yeah.
I think Dirge is kind of the main Terra here.
Oh, for sure.
So I'm not too hung up over it.
I really don't like the fact that the only rock resist is Cobalion.
Yeah, it also is kind of the only guy who can take knockoff, so
Oh
he's
yeah.
pretty.
I mean, Wolfish kinda can, but you know.
Yeah, kind of. But he's kind of necessary a lot of the time, which does suck a bit. Screamtail is nice support for Pagos gouging. I think the wishes are pretty cool. And
Yeah,
just
for sure.
defensively synergizing with Pagos is nice.
The guy doesn't get healing wish, right? Only normal wish?
Yeah, just normal wish.
Oh yeah.
But it's at least bulky enough to do it like once or twice.
Yeah, for sure.
Which may be all it needs. But yeah, I think just the main like grievance I might have is just like the kind of just the defensive holes that it has that Dirge needs to cover. And then if it does, then there's more defensive holes. Yeah. So this team kind of needs to get its offense going fast enough, and I don't know if it can do that.
Yeah, because the two main guys do rely on setup a lot, and Lando Lando is fine, it's strong as a breaker, but it's just slow as fuck.
Yeah, like Weavile is a good threat to stuff, but if it doesn't get like Okos on things, it's not really feeling great. Like it's just dead to so much. Really weak to U-turn, weak to rocks as well, which Pagos is forced to spin on its own.
Yeah.
And there's also a gouging fire that might not want to run boots, so that's more pressure on Pagos. But it's really just like Weavile being the big revenge killer, kind of the only guy who can hope to do it. And then Screamtail, Cobalion are just not really that strong as a speed tier.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the most basic game plan here against this team, everyone's gonna do is just like run Terra Ghost and then hazard spam the fuck out of them, and you can't really do much about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Like that's literally it. There's so much incentive to Terra Ghost versus this team. It's literally just the Weavile revenging you, but if you have a check to Weavile, you just don't care anymore.
Yep, pretty much.
You're immune to Starstorm, you threaten the Screamtail, you spin block, threaten base Dirge, which, as we said, if it's terroring, there's more defensive holes. Like, it's really annoying.
For sure.
I do think, apart from that, this team can hold its own as long as it makes a good enough game plan. Because
yeah,
the pieces are admittedly really bulky.
Yeah, for sure.
What were you saying?
Oh, I think like the mons he has are good. Like aside from maybe the bottom two, I don't think there's like a bad Pokemon on the team.
Yeah, overall it's pretty solid. Scream is like a piece that some people don't love, but I think it's good on this. And then Rotom Fan I actually think is pretty good for its price point.
It's okay, yeah.
I like it more with Terra, but
team,
you can't really afford to do it.
It's gonna be forced to run boots on this team pretty much every game if it does come, but yeah, it's okay.
Yeah. And like it is only flying resist, but nothing else is really threatened by flying, so and you have Weavile as the Revenger, so it's really not a big deal.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
So yeah, it's like this team is like getting to the point where I can appreciate what it has, and it might be annoying to prep for, but not like too hard. Yeah, that's pretty much it for this.
Alright, so at number 10 we have Noir. This is a team. What the fuck?
Here it is. Dude, this is a Noir-ass team.
He drafted last season. He drafted like a anti-Raikou Suicune and some. It was a really weird team. And then this is just...
Yeah, and he also had Terra Mew last time.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know why. I don't know Noir that well, like at all, but I can just tell that he drafted it without even seeing his name. It just looks like he drafted it. I don't know, just based on his last season stuff. Just looks the.
I do. I mean, I think the top 6 is like nice, but after that, it's just like, what the hell happened?
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty good. I do really like Tinkaton. Just in general is good glue with most dragons. Terra Mew is great, and Shifu really does love Terra, but it doesn't super hog it, I guess.
Yeah,
so it's not so bad.
Yeah, it's like a decently amount. Like, it's a pretty okay price increase. I think it's manageable.
Yeah, I think like one of the major like annoying things is just Terra Fairy being really safe to bring into this, and just like taking on top two and like your punish for Terra Fairy are really passive. So
That's
if they
fair.
just have a way to abuse those guys, then this could be a pretty annoying game to play. The Revenging is also not fantastic, and the Shifu is probably gonna be scarfing with Terra Dark a lot,
Mhm.
which additionally makes Terra Fairy more annoying to deal with.
I can see that. Yeah.
And then we have double defog as removal on Chomp, which is
Yeah.
just something I generally just don't like.
Same, and I know it, like last season he ran like a hazard stack lead Mew against me, so it's not like he can do that as well. Which
Yeah,
makes it,
Chomp Mew.
yeah,
And on a Chomp Mew team where the Mew, when it doesn't Terra, there's like when it wants to like lead hazard stack, there's another Terra to deal with it. So it's a pretty viable option. It's just that there's no way to remove your hazards on your side without getting rid of them.
yeah, and his ghost is fucking. I mean, I don't know. I was gonna say his ghost is Dracula, but he also has the Sidgewai, so it's fine, kind of fine in that sense. But he can remove hazards of his own safely, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
What did he draft him?
Yeah, I think the Sidgewai is like kind of growing on me as a defogger a little bit, just because it matches up well into most rockers, but not wanting to defog is just gonna make this annoying.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's really
Also-
gonna depend on the game plan.
Also, we gotta stop drafting Toxapex. Honestly, like, it's warming up to me a little bit, like just the slightest bit, but it's still bad. I
Toxapex.
still don't. Yeah,
I've used that guy a
warming
lot
up to
in
it.
like Gen 7, but I don't really know how good it is this gen. But I'd imagine bad, just like every other passive mon.
I've been like the tiniest bit impressed with the offensive AV set.
What kind of set
I
is
think
that?
it's
What
like-
the hell?
It's the stuff that like got used a little bit in OU, and I've seen it like come to a couple draft games throughout the gen, and it does like a little bit more damage than you expect in special guys.
That's funny.
It's a little bit interesting. I just wish it was a tentacruel so that you can actually fucking spin.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it was drafted on round 7, and it was just like, oh well, I'll just grab Toxapex. That's kind of
Yeah.
what I did as well.
After seeing Noir take Suicune last season, it just kind of like clicked that this guy would be taking a Toxapex. Like it just makes sense.
Yeah.
Also, why the fuck do you pick a Dracloak? What does that do? You got any one pointer that might help a little bit?
I mean, he did get one.
You could also just-
He just got another.
He did. You could just combine that into a different Pokemon,
Could have been like
like a different normal.
Yeah, I don't know. What is there a 2-point normal undrafted? I know Kamala is like taken. Let me see. What 2-pointers are?
Yeah, maybe there's no great option.
You could get a Squawkabilly or Munchlax.
Yo,
maybe?
Squawkabilly. Oh my god, Squawkabilly is awesome.
For real.
I also just don't love Ditto in this gen because of how Terra Captains can abuse it. So if you just like re-pick your last 3 Pokemon, I think you can maybe find something more useful than Wigglytuff, Ditto, Dracloak.
Surely the combined point total of those 3 guys can like afford a spinner. Surely. It'll be a bad
Surely.
one, but it'll at least be a spinner.
It'll be a single thing that you could use to spin a single time in a single matchup to make your hazards actually stay on the field.
Pretty much, yeah. I would look into it. Alright, let's move on to number 9. Tai and the Great Dusk team. This one actually looks pretty good. I like the mons on the team.
I'm finding it. Yeah. It was weird. This was kind of like the benchmark for like teams that go from mediocre to decent.
Mm-hmm.
And putting stuff above this team was like getting it kept like making me double check what I didn't like about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the really elite speed. Like dealing with this team through revenging and speed setup is just not an option at all.
Oh yeah.
With Encore Bundle, Encore Terra Ogrepon.
Oh yeah, he does have 2
I
really
think-
fast Encore mons. Holy shit.
Yeah. And then like Killwatchel's also there, but I don't love non-Terra Killwatchel. I think it's kind of a piece of shit.
True. I like his Terra captain, so Heatran's a really underrated Terra guy.
Heatran's a really good Terra captain, and arguably hogs it a tiny bit, but it's not so. It's not. I think like the reliance on Heatran with this team is like the only reason it's not. It's like the biggest reason where it's not higher, because it is the only resist to a few things. If I remember, definitely fairy.
Oh yeah, it's the only fairy
And then-
resist. It's one of the only flying resists if you count Kilowattrel.
I don't count Killwatchel.
It's the only fire resist as well. So that's...
It being the only fire resist
Well, yeah,
really isn't that big of a
yeah, it
problem
can
for
still
me.
run flash
just 'cause
fire.
you can, yeah.
Mhm.
So like it can stick around for a while if it finds a good defensive type and just keeps flash fire.
Oh, it's also the only ice resist together with bundle, which isn't really one.
Right. So realistically, the only freeze dry resist. But I guess you do have the bundle, so it's just Kirim.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Like the main thing is just all these types that it resists. Like if they have the stab, then usually those mons have the coverage for base Heatran, and then if you Terra the Heatran, it'll come in later and just spam their stab.
Yep, pretty much.
Which it sucks a little bit. But that one time Heatran will definitely do it. But if we're Terran Tran, then we have no resist to any of those types.
Yeah, you could probably get like rework the bottom 2 a little bit and like. I do like Miss Mages on the team, but maybe like the mellow weather you can do for like something else. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not so sure how I feel about Metalwetta. I think generally, if hazards are on the field, like I think the biggest use of Metalwetta is just being an AVMon and just being super specially fat. And there is a Tusk here to spin for it, so
yeah, true.
I guess if you're gonna get a Metalwetta, it should be on a good spinner team. But I kind of dislike it just because the stabs are so mid.
And it's not even the best Spectre check either because you can just run Dark Pulse.
Right. Which, to be fair, there are 2 mons here, assuming the Ogre Panteras, that are definitely going to outspeed Spectre.
That's fair, yeah.
But yeah, taking the hit is maybe going to be unreliable. Overcoil can be special defensive and take it.
But it's gonna get burned and stuff, you know, the typical Spectre.
Yeah. The other big thing is like, if Bundle isn't making easy progress for like a special wall, Heatran is also the only real great way to make progress, like reliably.
Yeah.
So this is just so much on Heatran's back.
Heatran's gonna be very important to the team, I think, and I don't think Ogresmon's actually gonna be able to, like you said, to tear it much because of it.
Yeah, I hope I'm wrong about that. Like maybe base Heatran can do what it needs to, but I'm a little bit doubtful.
Usually, I've used base Heatran before, and it's just like in this gen, everything gets ground coverage. It's really annoying.
Yeah, everything is
past.
ground coverage, fighting coverage, and then like offensive waters are also just generally really good, which is another reason to Terra the Tran, because apart from like a Terra, like fat Tran, like a Hydro Pump is cleaving through this team.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, the only water resists are like Pawn and Bundle, which isn't amazing.
Yeah, Pawn, I think if it's Terraing and it can afford a lot more bulk and running Synthesis, it is decent as a water resist, but that's not all the time.
Yeah.
Because it often needs a lot of coverage or just wants to be running Choice Banded.
Especially on this team, like after the first 4, it's really like mostly defensive-ish utility picks. So it's gonna be one team
Yeah,
to run
and
offensive more often.
I know if Phony was here, then this team would be rated even lower because there's a fucking label on it.
True. It does feel nice to not have someone complete. Oh, this one sucks so much.
I don't mind it. I think as long as you're aware that it's not gonna be walling shit, like its utility is still strong.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not fantastic, but it's not gonna knock points off for me, at least.
I think the Fable's role here is really just like being a rocker, being a fairy, not trying to be like all end all defensive piece. It's kind of whatever.
Yeah, probably just like leading off, clicking rocks, clicking knock, and H-wishing with like a custat berry or something later.
Yeah.
That's kind of it though. It's whatever.
Yeah, I like the team though. I think it should at least have a good chance of making playoffs.
Yeah, definitely.
Alright.
Also, nice colors.
True, it's a very aesthetically pleasing team. So let's move on to number 8, Golden Cyber. Dio Speed Thing. I like the Terra captains a lot.
Yeah, I do. This team's got a lot of quality on it, for sure. And Dio Tinglu Sinistra is really annoying.
Oh yeah.
Like so.
The best spin blocker in the game.
Yeah, and then he also got Sizzle around 6, which is like super good in the 16-minute agreement.
Usually all the steals
like,
are
pretty
gone
insane.
Like, round 4. That's kind of funny.
Yeah. But unfortunately, that Scizor is the only removal on the team, and it is defog on Tinglu Dio Sinistra.
Yeah, that's really bad.
Yeah, that's a huge weak point. That's probably the biggest reason it's not.
He's the webs too.
Way
like,
higher.
This team has so much potential hazard-wise because of like the 2 great hazard setters, the Ribombee, but then it just doesn't have a spinner.
Yeah. And like what webs can be pretty cool if you just like specs the Keld and then like Terraflying band Terra Blast the Ments or do whatever. Like and then Scizor is good in webs too. So Ribombee's kind of cool. I don't love that Dio is so forced to revenge anytime Keldeo isn't Choice Scarf or Mence isn't Choice Scarf.
Yeah, that's
which
fair enough.
I think it is kind of just Keldeo that realistically wants to do that because, again, defog only removal.
Yeah, and most of like Mence kind of
Yeah.
relies on setup. Scizor has priority to revenge some things, but not always, and then all the rest is mostly just like defensive pieces.
I personally am a pretty big fan of Keld plus Scizor, just having the Vacuum Wave Bullet Punch combo.
Oh, yeah, that's fair.
That nothing other than like a Toxapex that like you wouldn't use Prio for like resists both. So it's pretty consistent. But if things aren't weakened, it does get a bit annoying to revenge stuff.
Yeah, I just the main thing, like we said, I would just really love to see Spinner on the team. I think that would be so much better if it had just a Spinner.
I think that would literally shoot it up into like top 5, top 4 territory.
Easily, yeah. Because the utility here is really good as well.
Yeah, like he has fine breakers, fine pivots, good fat with Lucha. T-Spikes might be a bit annoying just because in any matchup where you're not bringing Muck, which you have such a good top 6, you know, then T-Spike does get a bit annoying, especially if Mence Terras.
Yeah, every single Mon is grounded as well, aside from the Mence, and then Scizor being immune, so...
Yeah. So, T-Spikes are annoying. Obviously you drafted a Muck, so it's not so bad, but I think it will be effective versus this. It's not a team flaw, though.
For sure.
And then just not... And the last thing is just like not having access to Encore is a little bit bad this gen, I think, just in general.
There's a Golduck.
The only Encore mod is fucking Golduck. That's it. Oops. Yeah. That's it. It's like
I think the Oxygen Encore would be really good.
Hell no, bro. What?
It would be really nice.
He doesn't need it. It doesn't need both Taunt and Encore, bro.
Yes, it does. Alright, I think that's all for this team.
Yeah.
Alright, let's move on to number 7, DJ Black. This is the first one of the 4 teams that I actually drafted.
Damn, you fucking cooked. That's crazy. That's wild. First of the 4, it's 7 or something.
First of the what?
Man. First of the 4 teams.
Yeah.
Oh wait, are you talking about your own as well? Wait, no.
I'm not in this division.
You drafted more. Yeah.
Yeah, I drafted 4 teams in this division. Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's kind of funny as well. Like, how does that even happen?
I think the top 4 on this team is so good.
Yeah.
They work together so well. I love Kieran and Ogrepon just bullying the hell out of steals, and then Tread's just coming in and then bolting back out into them.
Oh yeah.
And then like also maybe spinning if it needs to. And then like that spin also supporting Kieran and Ogrepon.
Yeah.
Like, that's just a really good combo. And then Gren is like this overarching, if you let me kill you, then you lose.
For sure.
Yeah.
And the Terra captains are really good, like both of them. Like Ogrepon can realistically come to every game, and you can Terra if Gren doesn't do anything or whatever. Like it's kind of nice to have, just in general.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty good Terra core, because like the matchups where Gren doesn't like feel the need to Terra are like the Scarf Pro team, where it's just locked into revenging the team, or the lead Spice guy. And that'll be in matchups where Ogrepon is better as a late game cleaner, so you have incentive to now Terra. So I think it's good.
Yeah, a lot of teams tend to like draft bad rock resists as well, so Ogrepon like with Terra can really scare really fast.
Yeah. Also, I love the Tauros Aqua. I think that Mon is just like such good value, and having the second water on Gren is so nice. Yeah. Having another Scarfer on Gren is so nice.
Fun fact, actually.
So
after the Inam, I originally wanted to talk Specs, but it got sniped. So I just took like those 3 guys instead.
What is wrong with you? That would have ruined this. Why did you do that? Dude, you're so lucky you got sniped.
Yeah, sure.
No, I like this more. I think the only like annoying stuff about this team is like I don't like Azelf, period. I think it's fine as like a Scarfer that helps Gren a little bit. I think just the Mon is pretty bad though.
Dude, I recently got kill leader with Azelf in the MLP. That thing is so fucking underrated.
With non-Terra Azelf?
Yeah, non-Terra Azelf kill leader. He got like 18 kills in the season.
Fuck. All right, maybe I just don't know ball then.
It's like I think like everything, most weeks at least I just ran Scarf. I ran a mirror herb set as well once and got like 5 kills, but just like in general.
Okay,
I think
so basically you got donated. You got donated is what you're saying.
And then I like switched in on a Tusk, I clicked Rapid Spin and I clicked Nasty Plot and I just killed everything.
Oh my god.
But basically
Insane.
I think Azelf is really underrated this gen because like everyone prefers Yuxi and Mesprit because obviously they're defensive pieces, but Azelf has like has access to Taunt, it has Encore, it's really fast, it outspeeds like most of the metagame. It's a really good dedicated lead, like it can do so many different things. I think it's really underrated. Yeah,
it's definitely not bad here either. I think the dedicated lead part might be not as useful on the Gren Cornerpon.
It does have the best lead in Draft League already.
I'm always biased to that. But like it being a Scarfer is definitely helpful for Gren. I think just having a Scarfer with Gren so it doesn't have to activate its bond early is always good.
For sure, yeah.
But I think just generally, I personally don't love the Mon, like the quality of the Mon, having to run coverage all the time and like competing with U-turn, trick, explosion, rocks, whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
Encore. But it could be just way better than I'm giving it credit. I don't know everything.
I think you have to use it once for yourself, find out.
Yeah, I haven't used it in a long time, so that's pretty fair. Only in mocks.
Yeah, you should. Yeah. Anything else you want to add?
I think last thing is just I think Anam is not doing too much here. I think Moltres is covering most of the stuff that it wants to help with. It's just that it is a fair.
It was really just like a defensive fix pick. Like if you look at like the top 4, you see a huge fighting weakness, and I didn't want Moltres to be like the only thing you can switch into fighting types. So I was like, I'll just pick 2 really good fighting checks, basically.
Yeah, I guess that is fair because Moltres is quad weak to rock.
Yeah.
But
Azalf can be a switch in, but it's not really very safe. So.
Right. Yeah, I guess I understand. I do still think it could be pretty much any other fairy.
Yeah, but it also have to go figure. It was like was it round 7. Most of the good fairies were gone at that point.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, it's fair. It's a good team.
I like it.
It's solid.
Should do well. Just don't bring the Komala or the Swallow that much.
Yeah, I think just like the also this team doesn't really take a special hit. That was the other thing.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's got all the tools for the physical side.
There's
No way
a few good AV users on the team, like Treads and stuff. But if you're running AV on those, most weeks it's going to be a little unfortunate.
Right. I mean, I think Treads other than like Komala is literally the only mon that can use AV well, to be honest.
Enam kinda can, but it's like, and you're taking rocks damage.
Yeah. Maybe like a lead AV and AM, but like then you can't run like healing wish or whatever.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
I don't know.
Alright, let's move on to number 6, which is Yahoodles. Yahoodles. Enam. This is such a like Yahoodles team, I feel like.
Dude, it is. I mean, I love pretty much all the mons drafted. I think they're all pretty meta.
Yeah. Just
generally, except for like Ursaluna, but it's being supported by Mesprit, so just good.
Yeah, that's true. He does have Trick Room options.
A lot of mons that people have understood for pretty recently that they are all very crucial to the metagame, which is pretty cool. The speed's not the best, but since Enam is the main cap, then High Dragon kind of is free to scarf a lot of the time.
Yeah, I think Cinderace is a really good scarfer as well, this gen. So it having.
I like it more banded, but it probably could be. Yeah.
So it being a top speed is pretty good. I feel like it's round 2. Like most of the good speed options are probably already gone. So Cinderace. Yeah,
there are definitely worse top speed options. It is a bit of a drop off with Enam being the next fastest thing, and then like what is it, like Tentacruel being Tentacruel, but like High Dragon is Scarfing. So yeah.
I feel like Enam teams always end up looking really weird for some reason. I've never seen like a really good Enam team or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, you're honestly not wrong.
Yeah.
And like, I think this is a structure that would be more forgiving in 8-mon, where people also just don't have room for so many speed threats. But in 9 to 11, I'm not as big of a fan of having the mediocre speed tiers.
Yeah, if you're gonna be facing like DJ's team, the last one we went over, he has like Iron Treads, Greninja, Urpon. It's gonna be really hard to like keep pace with all those fast guys.
Yeah. So it does have some decent priority, Trick Room, Sticky Web.
I guess
it's not so bad.
Yeah, Cinderace Metagross are pretty good at priority. And he does have webs as well, and Rotom to spin block, so it's kind of like he has options.
Yeah. Don't forget about my GOAT Hitmonchan with the priority.
I forgot about it.
That guy's cooking.
He drafted Wishcash last season as well, and he almost did something with it.
Yeah.
There was like one, I think it was against Keegan, where he had it like with spikes and shit, and it did so much, it was really funny.
Fucking goat. I love that guy.
Yeah. Alright, I think that's it for me.
But yeah, what's up?
I think that's it for me, like, about the team.
Oh, okay. I think most of the qualities about this team are good. There's just like a shit ton of tools. It's really versatile. All the mons are like pretty damn good at their role, unless they're something that's really versatile, in which case that's also good, like Mesprit or like an Amorous.
Yeah, for sure.
I think like the biggest like annoying things are physical threats are just, and like especially ones with like knockoff, like pre-burned Luna. Like there's not a good switch into knock at all.
Yeah, there's maybe like Hydreigon, I guess, but like that's really it.
Yeah, but Hydreigon I think is gonna be really wanting to keep a scarf on it for most of the time, so I don't think it's great. And then like the other thing is waters being pretty annoying to break safely without taking a big trade.
Yeah, because your electric is Rotom and your grass is non-existent. It's a bit annoying, yeah. I mean, I guess Anam is like, it likes running Terra Electric, so it at least has that as an option.
That's true. It could totally Terra Electric sometimes. I think I think Terra Ground and Ghost are like generally like really strong too, though. So you don't want to like be forced to Electric too often. I'm sure it won't be actually forced too often though. Like it's not so bad.
It's fine. Yeah, it is true. That's kind of true that like it's after Anam he drafted 4 mons that kind of get stopped by water types. So that's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, and then Luna also threatened, but it can kind of just facade through one if it needs to, I guess.
Sure.
I don't know.
Like if the team, like if his opponent has like a good Enam check, like he doesn't have to waste his Terra to it, I think we'll be seeing a lot of Terra Water against this.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Alright.
That's about it.
Yep. So let's go to number 5, which is Finley, another team I drafted.
Yeah.
I actually really like this one. I think it ended up really well for some. Like there was a lot of like insane value picks left. Like for the round 4 Palafin, like okay, I'll just take it.
Yeah. Round 4 Palafin's pretty good in 9 to 11. In 8 Mon, it's like people start considering it like halfway through just to make sure their team functions.
For sure. Yeah.
But in 9 to 11, you kind of are able to just get all the tools you need to at least get a functional team. So that's pretty value. Like usually it would go like round 2.
Yeah, and on Palafin teams, I really like having like a lot of pivot mons and like not have to waste your lead on Palafin every single time, and literally every single mon on the team pivots aside from Alchemy, so I think that's really nice.
That's true. They do that.
Yeah.
That's crazy. There's just so much pivoting.
I mean, not all of them want to run it every week, but they can if they want to.
Yeah. And I mean, there's also like if you really want to lead Palafin, I guess you can go out to Gliscor. It's not like so bad.
Yeah, that's fine. That's...
As long as they're not leading with like a rocker or a knocker. Like a rock knocker. I think that would be a bit annoying though.
Yeah. I mean, I guess if it's like a rock type, Palafin can just flip turn, right?
Yeah, the classic rock types.
Or I mean, a ground type. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think it's any huge trap, but if they lead with just like a mon with knockoff, it could just be a bit annoying.
I can see that. There's not.
As
really
long if you're leading Palafin.
No. Yeah, but I'm gonna tell him to not leave Palafin. It's fine.
But then but then you just have you gotta get it in. So.
I don't think that's too hard with a team like this. But yeah, I see the point.
Yeah, but like the top 4 is like super fucking good.
Yeah, I really like the top 4.
Gliscor supporting Polt and then Polt supporting Palafin Iron Moth is like very, very good.
And Iron Moth like dealing with the fairies for Pole as well. Moltres is a really nice fat dark. I actually wanted Mandibuzz, but it got sniped like right before me, so I ended up with Moltres Galar.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Mandibuzz is like a little bit more logical, but yeah, just the way it is, I guess. Non-Terra Gmolt is not a mon that I'm super really big fan of, but it's not terrible.
Yeah, I considered Terraing it over Gliscor, but then I was like, nah, I feel like Gliscor is gonna get way more value out of Terra on this team, because if Moltres is competing with Iron Moth, it's probably not gonna Terra that much. I
do think you were right for doing that, for sure. I I do wish there was a better way of punishing Terra Waters on
Yeah.
this, because like the
I
main
feel
way
that.
of like trying to check stuff is doing that versus Iron Moth and then hitting base Gliscor,
Yeah, Terra
Palafin.
Water looks really good actually.
Yeah, it's just like Serena and Il, which are both really slow, and Serena probably wants to be coming decently often, but it wants to be spinning and not clicking its grass stab.
Yeah, that's fair enough. And yeah, at least like
So
you can argue like Moth can they're electric or grass or whatever, but yeah, it's not really the most optimal typing you want to be running every week.
it definitely could, and it makes it so that that's not really like the worst low point of all time.
Yeah.
But it could be pretty annoying.
It's manageable, but every team has a flaw, right?
Yeah, definitely. And then, like, I like most of these pieces. The eel is very nice. I just don't love Empoleon as a Pokemon.
Yeah.
Just in general. I understand it here for sure,
I think it's
but
okay
I don't love
here,
it.
yeah. But yeah, I feel you. It's not the best, but like it's like at round 5, you know, most of the steals are gone. I was like, I'll just take Empoleon. It's like one of the better steals left. Next best thing is probably like a fucking Bronzong or something, which isn't great.
Yeah, I don't know. I just need to see Empoleon do literally anything for me to believe in it.
Yeah, in DPL, Palkia62 has it like on the team he's been spamming, and he's actually been cooking some cool sets with it. I think it has potential, like as an offensive mon, just in general.
I think there's probably potential with it, especially with like torrent pinch sets, maybe.
Yeah, or even competitive can be really value as well sometimes, into like defog teams or whatever, which are kind of rising in popularity.
Yeah, definitely. It's just like constantly move slot syndrome. Never can hit an opposing water type.
That's true.
But
unless you're running grass.
I mean, in matches where it works, I'm sure it doesn't feel so bad.
Yeah, it's an okay Pokemon. Just like your typical 11-point steal or 12, whatever it is.
Yeah, 11. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to number 4.
Good team.
I think. 4. Yeah. Mish.
Yes.
Everyone's favorite yapper. Another one I drafted.
I like a lot of that. Yeah, this is another new team.
Yep.
I like a lot about this team. The top 3 is like obviously good. Like we've seen it a lot, and it is consistent. I do like the type combination between Drill and Latias for the most part. Pretty cool.
Yeah. I think with Excadrill you always want like one of the Lake Trios or like a Lati, because they just synergize really nicely together.
Yeah, so you got both. You just decided to get both.
Dude, round 7 Yuxi in round 7 is so unbelievable, and like it works. Like Lati and Yuxi are different enough, and they synergize so nicely. I was like, yeah, I'll just get both. I don't need anything else right now.
Yeah, I think they're like barely different enough, but they're different enough. It's just like Yuxi getting rocks and U-turn is like the big thing.
Yeah.
And that's like valuable enough for a 7th slot. Like it's fine.
The only thing I'm gonna say like about the team myself that I really dislike is that there's not enough pivots. Like Drill and Tyranids are so annoying to get in. I wish there were more pivots, but that's the main issue for me.
Yeah, it's kind of just like Samurott, which like it wants to be clicking ceaseless, so not always gonna be flipping, and then Yuxi, which like Yuxi is very similar to Lati, but that does make me appreciate the pick a bit more. Is just the fact that it does pivot. I think for a surprising amount of matchups, Arbok is gonna need to come.
Which ones?
Which is like
what mons would Arbok be needed? You think?
Like Meow.
Yeah,
like
I can see that.
Other offensive grasses.
So an Ogerpon, basically, yeah. I mean, I guess Latias kinda, but not really.
Yeah, not really.
Yeah.
I think there were definitely more. I can't really think of them right now, but there was more when we were ranking last night. We noticed a bit.
What
And
did
it's
you
not
do
like
with Chef again?
I was pretty much in VC with Clives the entire time.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Yeah, and the Volbeat's also fine.
I just didn't know what to pick. Like I have 2 points, I'll just pick Volbeat or something. I don't know.
But yeah, it's kind of make or break.
Yeah.
I guess if like Valiant doesn't want to come into Fast Encore or whatever, then it can
Yeah,
prankster it.
It's fine.
Cool.
And he has 4 Encore months. I didn't even notice that. That's crazy.
Yeah. I think just like the most annoying thing maybe is the drill solo spin.
Yeah,
I just
that's fair.
don't like that. Like this team isn't like the crazy, like the most hazard week in the world, but I wish there was another spinner because Terra sand supported drill does not want to be click and spin.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Maybe there's
So
like a 2
effectively, not really any removal on this.
Yeah, I mean drill can still spin, but it's not. It wants to be clicking SD and then clicking buttons most of the time, so I can see that.
Yeah. 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 And then like drill is also like a bit relied on for revenging stuff if Val or if you either like need like a pivot to certain types or Val just wants to be staying in the back with a booster energy. Then there's like not too much revenging stuff other than Terra Drill in sand.
You have 2 decent Scarfers in like Gold and Go and Samurott at least, but
Yeah.
I can see that.
I just don't want Drill to get like overloaded or forced.
For sure, yeah.
But that's not like the worst thing. The more important thing is not having any removal at all. Yeah. That's the only real issue with it. That's why it's number 4.
Yeah, it's always hard to like when you're drafting Tyranitar or Excadrill, it's always hard to like account for everything because you're not really getting much utility out of those 2 guys specifically, aside from like Rocks and T-Tar.
Right.
You have to account for the huge amount of weaknesses they come with.
That's pretty fair, yeah. Okay.
Okay, let's move on to number 3, Slap, the Ottawa Senators.
Slap team.
That's the last one I drafted.
God damn. Yeah, it's a good team, but you drafted Milotic, so it's not number 1. Well,
yeah, look, man, go through the fucking tier list and find me a water type that fits better. Because it was like Quagsire or something. I didn't like any of the options basically.
It's fine. It's okay. It's whatever.
Yeah.
So I think I really like the Rachi here. I think Rachi is tying the team together very nicely, especially boarding Bolt and shit.
I was really surprised it was still around on like round 4 as well.
Yeah, I think it went round 3.
This is like way at the end of it's like at the beginning of round 4 actually, but yeah, still.
Yeah, I expect it on a board like this with 16 man. I would expect it to go round 3, so that's pretty nice.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, also the grassy terrain is helping everything, which is super cool.
Yeah, literally everything with Weezing is grounded, and even Weezing can be sometimes, so that's really cool.
Yeah. There's like, I think like the biggest like annoying thing is just there's a bit of mid. That's mainly it. Like the back half is pretty mid.
Yeah,
Zoroark with not great hazard control. Like it's just Weezing is just not great. Just when it's taking a different amount from hazards.
Zoroark isn't really here for like spin block or whatever. It's more so here for like to at least have something else.
Well, I know.
And also I think it's just a really cool pairing with Sneasler with like Illusion.
It is, except for when like you have mediocre removal, except for when hazards are up.
Yeah.
Then the difference in HP is giving it away really easily.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I know it's not really there to spin block. There's not really much going on with the hazards anyway. Like Deancy's fine, but it's just rockers. So I don't really mind, but it does make Zoroark a bit worse.
Yeah, I feel that.
But most of it's fine. I think it might be just by like base 100 offense, like just like really strong breaker guys. It could get a bit overwhelmed because the team's like not the most proactive ever.
Yeah, there's a lot of like fat offense guys on the team.
Yeah. But it's really not the worst. Like this is number 3. It's got a lot of good qualities, not so many bad qualities.
Even Diancie, I feel like, is really underrated offensively because I really like those Trick Room Meteor Beam sets. I think those are really good.
Yeah, I like that a lot too. And with the grassy terrain, it's also helping, which is pretty cool.
For sure. Okay,
yeah,
I think
not,
it's
not
time
so much
for number 2. Berna.
Yep.
Which one is that?
Berna and the fucking Hularp.
Oh. Every division has a team like this. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah. This one has actually has the Meowscarada though, which I think is really huge.
I haven't actually watched like any Hoop games really, so like what makes this kind of team so special really?
Well, I think the biggest dynamic is just everything being like it's, let's face it, it's like kind of semi-stall with Hydrapple Pitch, like bulky pivot Rotom, and then Mandy. But I think like the really most important thing on this team is having the dedicated revenge killer to everything so that you can control the pace of the game and not just get overwhelmed.
For sure, yeah.
And there are teams that don't have the Meowscarada, but this one does, and that makes it way better. Because while yes, Meow is like forced to revenge everything, that is the thing it's good at doing, and it is coming every game. So you're not really worried about revenging stuff.
Yep. Yeah, so many good Scarfers too, really nice priority and Lycanroc. I like the team.
Yeah, Lycanroc is like kind of the only other like fast source of power.
Oh yeah, the gap between fucking Petrun and Lycanroc is huge in speed.
It's true. And it does mean that certain offensive guys can maybe be annoying, but there's just so much reliable fat here and ways to position that it probably won't really be that big of a problem. It's kind of just what the team is leaning into, so I kind of respect it.
Yeah, it's really like if you wanna like the main thing you want to break Petrun with is like ground types, but then he has like fucking 3 immunities and Hydrapple. It's kind of crazy.
Hydrapple, which follows up with a Terra and becomes unbreakable. I really love the Ursaluna on this team. I think Ursaluna is a bit underrated just in general, and supported by Meow is so good. Like they target similar checks, but they hit on different sides of the spectrum. And Meow's gonna be in pretty often, just you turning over to it and clicking a Specs Blood Moon.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I think it's really good.
Just such a weird ground to like fit on a team, but it's really scary, man.
Yeah. Also, the Bronzong is cool to set Trick Room for it, and then Guard is good for Scarf Healing Wish for it. So it's like really well supported.
Oh yeah, that's true. He does have like a really nice Trick Room potential team.
Yeah. This team honestly could have been number 1. Like there's really not so much wrong with it. It is a bit pigeonholed in the playstyle. So if someone like really has a decent game plan into it, there's not much way you can vary what you're doing. So like if you have like good special offense that can cover multiple Hydrapple Terras and then like fit knockoff on there to get rid of the AV, that over time can be pretty threatening.
I do wish the hazards were a little better though. Like it's really just awkward offensive ones
that is running them. Yeah, that is the other thing.
And then also
that's the other thing.
Defog, of course.
Because Meow is like, it really needs to be sticking around to revenge it, so it can't safely click spikes all that often. It can do it sometimes, but it's just riskier in general. And then Bronzong is the only real rocker, apart from Lycandusk, I guess. Like on Elite Lycandusk.
For sure. Yeah. So I don't mind the only removal defog a lot because of that, but it would have been nice think it would be number 1 if it had better hazard control.
Yeah, I think just better hazards in general. I wouldn't even really mind mono defog on even if they had like a decent spiker, because top 5 is so bringable, and then you can get up a bunch of hazards multiple times throughout the game, as long as you have a decent enough defensive matchup, which it should have often. So I really like the team. It was close to number 1.
Yeah, all right. Then for number 1, we have your favorite type of team, the Spectre team.
Yay! I freaking love Spectre, guys. I know Phony would super disagree with this because he doesn't think Spectre is a good mon to build around if you want to win, but I think it is, and I think Spectre is really well supported on this. Lando T is a fantastic ground pivot that can easily run helmet and just switch into hits and stuff. Hands is like an excellent pairing because of booster energy and breaking through and safely switching into normals and darks. Keys abuses them with spikes. Latios is special for offense help. And then Shaman's Healing Wish, which is like, I think Shaman is like the mon that I'm most lost with here in its role, because H-Witch is like okay into hands, but what else is it really doing? I just generally don't love Shaman. Like, I guess you could say it's like you get it for water types that threaten you, but then you immediately got a Tatsugiri after, which like its only niche is
to be fair,
being immune to water types.
I think he drafted the Tatsukiri for spin because it is only removable.
Yeah, which like I like Terra Tatsugiri for spin, honestly. Like, it's more reliable, I think, than anyone would think. But without Terra, it is very, very unreliable. So I don't love it so much. But apart from that, I do like everything else. Even the Chansey at the back end is like the secondary rocker that you bring in like one matchup and lead it off and do like a seismic toss into something. And then I also really like low kicks. I think it's super value, and with like a bulkier kind of team, it could really shut down the offense that's trying to break you. So maybe I guess I just don't love the Tatsugiri spin more than I don't like the Shaman.
Yeah, that's fair enough. The removal
that's
definitely
like,
a point.
Yeah.
I do think Klefki has a lot
literally
of
the only thing
pressure though on this specific team, because it's the only resist to both dragon and flying, and then it also wants to come in on normal types a lot. Klefki's gonna have his work cut out for him.
That's true, though. I think Lando and Hands like really don't have a problem coming in on most normal types.
Yeah, that's fair.
Depending on what item you run for them. And then, even though it's the only dragon resist, like Lando is blanket checking a lot of dragons, just in general. And then Hands with like Terra Fairy can also just cover a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I see that.
So I don't. It is definitely like a little bit of a limitation, but I don't think it's a really big flaw at all.
Yeah, it's just gonna have to come a lot basically, but that's fine, I think.
Yeah.
I think the top 4 you want to bring to like pretty much every game, and then after that you pick 2 of the last guys.
I think top 3 you want to bring to every game. There's probably going to be games where you don't really need the Klefki as much as you need like Salazzle Fast Encore T-Spike.
Yeah, that's fair.
Or something of the sort. But top 3 are so versatile depending on matchup that you can kind of overcome anything, I think.
Felt.
I'm just a sucker for Spectre. I know some people don't think the same about this team, probably, but I like it.
It's just like Spectre is one of the most controversial mons of all time. Like, some people absolutely hate it, think it should be banned, and then some people think it's really shit. Like, it went to fucking, I think 14th pick or something in Legendary. It's really funny how that happens sometimes.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately for the viewers, I am on the side of Spectre should be banned, and I think it's really good.
Oh, you think it should be banned?
I do think it should be banned, yes.
Oh, that's interesting.
I was advocating for it in general chat when Phony was like, "I don't want it. It's boring and it makes the draft bad."
Yeah, he also thinks it should be banned, but he thinks it's bad, basically.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird.
Just like, okay, man, whatever, man. But I think it's also broken. So
It is, bro.
whatever.
I feel like it's just like it's so. I almost took it, but I just pushed it out. I didn't want to, because I've seen so many Spectre teams relegate. I didn't want to be one of those.
Yeah, I mean it's a hard mon to use. I
Yeah.
just think it's broken.
If
If it's
supported
also because
correctly,
people, I think because people don't want to use it so much, it gets left to like later in the draft, and that just makes the draft better because you get better pairings.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So that happens often. I don't think that was the case with this one. Like he got it like what,
Round
4 or
big
5
yeah.
or something. Yeah, so not the case here, but he still got a good draft.
Yeah.
So
Round 2 Lando
Good
T is
job.
nice. Like, it's like the next best ground after Garage Swamp you could probably pair it with.
yeah, it's like it's really just like the big 4. Other than Tusk, like the big 4 grounds
Yeah.
are Chomp, Gliscor, Treads, and
Lando.
Chomp.
Tingu,
Wait,
I
what did I
guess.
just say?
The
Yeah, no, wait. I was thinking of something and I just forgot what the last ground was, so I said Chomp again.
Chomp, Tinglu, Treads, and Lando probably. And maybe Gliscor if you want to
No,
make
no,
it
it was Gliscor. It was Gliscor. I literally forgot to say Lando, even though it's on the team. It's Chomp, Lando, Gliscor, Treads. That's what it is.
You don't like Tinglu?
I think lose fine. I don't think it's as synergistic as the others.
Fair enough.
But it is fine.
Alright, well I think that just about wraps it up. So thank you for watching, and thank you Wagon Fruit for helping with the rankings.
Yay!
See you guys in
In the
next one.
comments.
Oh,
In the comment section. In the comment section, let me know if you know of the game Marvel Contest of Champions 2014. And then hit me up on there. Yeah.
Okay.
That one guy will be a knower.
Oh yeah, for sure. Alright, peace out.
Okay, bye bye.